Mrs. American, right?
Yeah, this is a pageant winner named Hannah Neeleman, and you might know her as Ballerina Farm. She's extremely famous on social media because she promotes this idyllic lifestyle. She lives homesteading on this farm in Utah. She's married, she has 7 babies, and she just won Mrs. American 2023. And this one clip of her appearance in the pageant has gone viral. They asked her a very stereotypical question, a feminist question. When have you felt the most empowered? Which is a very loaded word in 2023.
I would be like, when I'm driving close to an intersection and a guy is walking by, and I realize that all I have to do is not hit the brakes, and that dude is done for.
When I'm standing on the subway and I'm standing behind someone and I realize I could just push them and end their life, makes me feel empowered. I never do it though. But it really just means like, when have you felt the most selfish? And she gave a very selfless answer. So I wanted to play that clip for you guys. And it was about motherhood. It's very pro motherhood and family.
Again, shocking.
Shocking.
Here we go.
When have you felt the most empowered?
I watched
I have
Disney
felt
Snow White.
this feeling 7 times now as I bring these sacred souls to the earth after I hold that newborn baby in my arms. The feeling of motherhood and bringing them to the earth is the most empowering feeling I have ever felt.
Nailed it.
The music was on point. It was like soft.
It was poignant.
Yep.
Yeah, it really like tugs at the heartstrings.
Yeah,
And
beautiful.
yeah, it's like a message that you wouldn't really hear from anywhere else.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, but why would you do that when the abortion clinic's like right down the road? I don't get it. Like, they're like, yeah, wait, by choice?
The funny part about this is like, I already knew this woman because I recognized her social media. Have you guys seen Ballerina Farm before?
No.
I might have stumbled across it.
She's got this huge business. Basically, Ballerina Farm, they sell like homemaking products. They sell farm raised meat and sourdough and like kitchen accessories, and it's like a whole lifestyle brand that she's built with her husband as well.
Here's the family. People were saying like, I think people were like wondering whether she actually had done this, but here's a picture of her with her and her husband.
Yeah, that's her husband Daniel.
I don't know why they'd want to work for FedEx. UPS is offering $170K a year. That doesn't make any sense.
So true. It really means she has 7 little employees for the business. But they have this story that like they both grew up as city folk, and she was a professional dancer, he was an entrepreneur, and they decided to move to Utah and start their own little farm. And it sounds like, you know, humble living, simple living, natural, you know, doing everything from the soil and like living off the land.
Love it. Very wholesome. Awesome.
Not the same thing as what a lot of Instagram influencers are giving you these days, which is why she has like 7 million followers, or probably more than that if you look across platforms. But I knew her because she was getting hate because people think that she's selling a lie. And that she's making money on Ballerina Farm by selling this as an attainable lifestyle to people for whom it is not attainable. And to a certain extent, I kind of get that. Let me just explain here. Ballerina Farm became an internet sensation for presenting an idyllic life. Hannah often posts about farming home-cooked meals and raising her 7 children. This dreamy life has garnered massive social media attention. The Neeleman's farm is not a modest venture. It's backed by significant generational wealth. Her husband, Daniel, is the son of David Neeleman, the founder and former CEO of JetBlue, who has a net worth of $400 million.
Must be nice.
Yes, and her social media posts do not disclose that financial background, leading to accusations of dishonesty and misrepresentation. The idyllic homestead life they portray is seen by some as a facade built on a privileged foundation, given the enormous costs and resources that are involved in sustaining such a lifestyle. The crux of the controversy lies in questions about social media authenticity. Hannah's content, presented without context of her family's wealth, struck many as a pull yourself up by the bootstraps narrative.
I mean, that's just people projecting, right? Like they see what they want to see in it, right? Is she supposed to put a disclaimer at the front of every post? By the way, this money was funded by my parents' trust fund.
Filthy
She
rich.
like posts her
Artists
bank
keep that
statements
going.
every time that she does anything on social media.
Like, don't have kids. Only have kids if your husband's worth $400 million.
It doesn't seem like they've gone to that much effort to hide that her husband is who he is.
It's super. It's just jealousy all around.
I think
from
that
people.
is what it is.
And it is like we live in a culture now where the thing to do on social media is to whine about what you don't have, not live happily with what you do.
Right. And I don't see anybody complaining when other rich influencers flex their wealth in more gaudy ways. Like they're posting their Birkins and their designer and they're going to they're going to Dubai and they're going to all of these exotic locations and doing brand deals, while she is just building something from the ground up, and she at least appears to have a simplistic lifestyle.
Somebody posts a picture, they've got their expensive handbag and their car. She posts a picture, 7 kids. Like, do you know what it costs to keep these things alive? Like, that's a way bigger flex than what this person is doing with a purse and a car.
Credit to her for making something of herself when she didn't need to. Like her husband could have provided for her and their family in a lavish lifestyle for as long as she wanted, but she wanted to make something of her own. So that's cool.
She's built a big platform, which is not easy.
But what people will complain about is they're saying, yeah, it's easy to build a business when it doesn't matter if you fail because your husband is rich.
That's true.
Because people have sour grapes. And it's like, yeah, you're not, so you're celebrating what it would be like for you to fail, not what it would be like for her to succeed, you scumbag. Like,
You're like fantasizing about how if you tried to do the same thing that you would fail.
Yeah.
Like you're actually fantasizing about how shitty your life would be if you did something creative.
I hate that. Like, and look, the same things are being said on my new favorite toxic Instagram channel, the family travel channel, where they're like, it's not, it's this family, this husband, this wife, and these 2 kids that travel around in an RV, and the mom is impossibly hot.
The family travel show.
It's literally all just the mom being impossibly hot and showing like novel locations. And a lot of the posts are like, wow, this is really cute. This is this, but then they're like, oh my god, like you're promoting toxic beauty standards because she's just super hot, right?
And possibly hot for living in an RV.
But why is that's what I said. I was like, where does she clean those clothes? Those are.
I was asking like, where is she showering? Is she showering in an RV?
Yeah,
or in a
she
gym?
does. Like, I was like, that hair looks a little bit too good to have been showering in an RV. But the point is she's portraying a lifestyle that is achievable because you can clearly see that someone has achieved it, but it's not easy.
We've got one from Baron of Grey Matter real quick. He said, it's not about how much you have, it's about how much you don't need. That is true success and happiness.
It's what's the meme? It says like money doesn't matter, rich people, beauty isn't important, hot people, and
I'm sure Hannah Neeleman would be all about those slogans.
yes, I love it. Like I just see an entire room of live, laugh, love plaques everywhere.
Well, she's sort of like
framed pictures of Candace Cameron Bure.
She's
I
like
agree with this
the
statement.
reversal of all. I don't know. I think Ballerina Farm is reversing all the damage that shows like Sex and the City did to women.
Move to the city, get on antidepressants, drink a bunch of wine, have sex with random people.
She's doing the job that conservatives seem totally incapable of doing, which is glamorizing the
family,
romanticizing, glamorizing the family, marriage, traditional lifestyle.
Yeah.
Like conservatives just can't seem to wrap their minds around it, but she's doing it perfectly well.
Yeah.
And maybe girls like Sophia Richie are doing it really well.
Yeah.
Like they're literally propagandizing young women into
wanting to live on a farm.
Yeah,
and have
like-
babies.
Yeah, but you know what that means? They're all going to show up at these events, and then they're gonna meet these guys. And I'm like, you're not worth $400 million. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I've got
you
a
don't
dream
need
to
the
achieve.
400 million.
Well,
to do it.
she
You can
kind
still
of
do it without that.
Ballerina Farm like takes that Hobby Lobby basic white girl aesthetic and she just elevates it. You know, she's not selling something that's totally alien to her followers. They still find her relatable.
It's and the best influencers are good at that, right? They know how to, even if they are completely disconnected from what their viewers actually experience.
Yeah.
They know how to make themselves appeal to that demographic, even if they don't actually live the same life as them.
Yeah, and she's choosing to do something uncomfortable.
Yeah.
That alone is like something to applaud. I'm sure
Yeah.
it's not easy. I would never want to live Ballerina Farms lifestyle. I do not want to milk any animal.
Have you ever? It's kind of
period.
fun.
No. That's not me.
Yeah.
Sarah has told me several stories.
I like
of,
being a townie, and I will happily support those businesses. I just don't.
Yeah.
I don't want to live that
There's
way.
a happy medium.
But
Mary's
I'm
like-
not gonna like rag on her
Right.
for
It
doing
doesn't make
it.
you not trad or traditional either if you don't want to go that full route of like living on a farm and milking a cow every
It's
morning.
not how I
and-
was raised. Now, granted,
Yeah.
it's not how she was raised either, but she clearly is enjoying herself, so that's fine.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Party.
Yes.
Coming from.
Also, the biggest crux of that whole speech, I think, to begin with, is just the fact that you don't see a lot of celebration of motherhood in mainstream media these days.
No, you don't.
At all.
Yeah. And it's like empowering. I mean, people I think have forgotten that childbirth is no easy feat, and there's so many complications that could go wrong, and you or your baby could be harmed. You never know. Like you could have postpartum. Like having a child is not something
There's so
that's
many
easy.
risks. But I think what the media wants to focus on to scare people out of trying is the indignity of it. Like it's some kind of animalistic thing, which I suppose, birth and in general, like giving birth is more of a primal experience, but that doesn't make it less than.
Yeah. I mean,
having
like,
a corporate
we have-
job.
yeah.
if anything, in my
Exactly.
opinion.
And in this
Yeah.
day and age, we do like you'll probably be fine, but it is still something that's very empowering.
Yeah.
I would just like to see the more of that from the
I mean, think about what the other momfluencers are doing these days. They're just complaining about how much they hate their lives.
Yeah,
and they
and they
make
have, like, a kid.
They make parenting sound like a living hell.
I told you
Yeah.
it's the
They complain about their husbands all the time. They make marriage sound like a living hell too.
There was
Yeah. I
the
love babies.
video I was talking about recently about the Dadvocate was talking about the trend of boy moms and talking about like these moms who make these videos where they're basically like humiliating their own son at the altar of feminism, where it's like teaching my son how to find things on a shelf so that your daughter doesn't have to look shut up. Like
Yeah.
you're like this kid, like imagine like some kid, like it's one thing if like your mom's like an OnlyFans chick and you have to go through the indignity of that one day. But imagine like you go back later and you just watch all these whiny videos of your mom where she just complains about the indignity of having a son because we had the other thing where the lady said like, oh, I had gender disappointment because I had a boy. And it's just like those influencers are very clearly unhappy, or at the very least love to lean into the divisiveness of those topics for the sake of views. That's one
Yeah.
thing if you're doing it on your own. Bringing your kids into it is a whole nother deal.
Do these moms just not have like friends that they can complain to anymore?
Well, no, that's what all this is. The reason I think that what things are as bad as they are now is like, look, when these conversations happened before, they happened between girls over a glass of wine in a living room and they bitched about men. And that's because you're letting off steam. And letting off steam is not the same exact thing as having legitimate complaints that are meant to be shared with your partner.
It's women's version of locker room talk.
Yeah, so that, and also, and even when the discussions go further, and it actually is a legitimate concern that a woman would have with a guy, that conversation is supposed to happen between two people who have history and all that entails emotionally, and instead it's being spewed out to the public at large who has no emotional connection to this person or the topic. So what you get is a bunch of hard feelings and anger because there's none of the sentimentality that comes with
everyone's
having with an
reading
actual person.
their personal
Yes.
slights and infractions into those social media posts that are generalizations.
Yeah, it's bad. Like it's not
And-
good.
Yeah, the vitriol just multiplies going both ways.
It's sad to see that that's where it's going, but there's too much money to be made for people on that. People love to watch, and because they feel validated, right? They're like, I dated a girl who did this and it was stupid. I dated a man who was like this and it was stupid, and all of these things. And it's just in those videos, like I'll admit, like if I'm scrolling Instagram, videos of people complaining, you stop. I will at least, maybe I don't watch the whole thing, but it keeps you there looking longer than a lot of other things. There's just something about it that
it gives
works.
you more of those same videos.
Yeah. It's not good. It's not good.
Yeah.
We need more of this lady and less of
More ballerina farms.
I agree.
and,
Team ballerina.
Fix your algorithms.
and less of the ladies complaining about what was it's like there was a video the other day of a lady. She posted a video. She's doing the dishes and she's like needs her husband's help and she's just huffing and making sounds that are supposed to be like, you're supposed to notice me, come help me. Yeah. And instead she's like, they're like, you set up a camera, made a bunch of noises when you could have just communicated to him, I need help with this.
And even if that wasn't real and it was a setup, which it probably was, that is like red flag behavior.
Yeah.
That's just, you're living for the internet too much.
Yep.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.